Set that. All right. Going live. All right, let's pop this in. I hope everyone can hear me. At least I can hear myself. More important. I guess everyone can, yep. Well, I can hear myself. All right. Now I'll pull that down. And what we're going to do, hello, hello. Good day, good day. Thanks for joining. Got somebody in YouTube. Good, good. All right. I'll actually remember to record the screen locally. Forgot last time. Halfway through it. And I'll make sure I select the right mic. Okay. Done and dusted. Now the next thing is turn that, and finally, where is it? Come along in here. And just have to make this change and then we're good to go. All right. So we're recording there. We're recording there. Okay. So if you have any questions, please chuck them in. I'll do my best to answer them. I hope everyone's having a great week. Hope everyone's got plans for the weekend. Got great plans for the weekend. Okay, now I think we are good to go. Trying to start these things a little earlier. And switch over to that feed. And I think just have to probably drop my audio down a little bit because it's peaking. There we go. It's a bit better. All right. I think we are good to go. Great week. Awesome. All right. So what we're going to do now is switch over. Yep. Okay, great. We are. All right. Hello, hello, everyone. Chuck your comments in. Let's have a bit of fun today. It's all about quizzes. Quizzes, 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 quizzes. All right. Let's get going. I do believe every other stream is going. Streaming, streaming, streaming. Yep. Great. And that one's going. All right. Well, as I say, we're cooking with gas. All right, cool. Let's do it. All right. So, all right, let's get into it. So, hello and welcome to tonight's live stream. Today, we're going to be taking a look at setting up quizzes in Drupal and also Drupal CMS. So, You can set these up in either Drupal or Drupal CMS. Now we're going to be taking a look at two modules. The first one, as you can see on the screen right here, is called Quiz. So if you want to learn more about it, just head over to drupal.org/project/quiz. And this one is a full-on module, and it offers a lot of functionality. You can create different quiz types, answer types, question types, even all these, everything is a fieldable entity essentially. And if you really want to take your quizzes seriously in your Drupal site, then I would recommend this module. But as you will see, there's a lot that you can configure, and there is a bit of setup. But what you could do is you could use this module with some type of learning management system, some type of LMS, some type of, you could probably create a quiz to create engagement, because who remembers those quizzes that they would put on Facebook and then you'd get a coupon or something when you fill it out? I don't know, something like that. Well, that might actually work pretty well. What you could do is get people to fill out a quiz and then offer them a Drupal Commerce coupon. Oh, anyway, just thought of that right now. I could actually do that with ECA, that entity, what is it, entity controller and stuff like that. And then we're going to be taking a look at Webform Quiz Elements. Now, this module just gives you radio buttons that have quiz functionality, so you can add a points to it, like a score, and then you get a score at the end. Now, the benefit of using Webform Quiz Elements is that if you have Webform installed already, then it's pretty simple to set up. You can easily just download the module and get it going. Whereas Quiz has a lot of dependencies, and so it is a pretty heavy module. The other thing to be aware of with Webform Quiz Elements is that at this point, it only really supports radio buttons. So whenever you want to create something, it's always like a true or false, for example. You'll just create an option for like a true or false, and things like that. So there are pros and cons to using either solution, and we're going to cover them in more detail. Oh, well, thank you. I got a super. What is it? $2 super thing. Oh, thank you very much. Another one. Nice. Thank you for that. Where is it? Where is it? Can I do something with that? Hey, cool. Thanks. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's start things off by setting up quiz. And what we're going to do is create a single quiz and create a few questions, and then just take it step by step. Now, as I mentioned, if you want to learn more about this module, just head over drupal.org/project/quiz, or simply Google it, because I've said this many times before. Usability of a module starts with the name. I didn't make this saying up, this quote up. I heard it from someone else, but that's very important whenever you're building a Drupal module. Usability of the module starts with the name. So when you search for quiz in Google, or who uses Google these days, or Perplexity, or any of those AI search things, it's going to appear number one because it's actually called quiz. And it does support latest version of Drupal and also Drupal CMS. Now, what you can do is you can come to extend and then browse modules. And this was recently fixed up. I do know that last week's live stream, there was actually an error. Was it last week's or the week before? There was actually an error when I came to the browse modules page because they made a change on drupal.org. But that was finally fixed up. And if you search for quiz, you will just download the quiz one. Now, I've already gone ahead and downloaded it just so that nothing breaks during the stream. And then at the same time, I did see this gamification, and I was like, what is this module? So This browse projects, which is part of Drupal CMS, if people are seeing this for the first time, it allows you to download and install modules directly from Drupal's backend. Yes, you heard right. You can download modules and install them. And you can take things one step further. If there is a module that requires updating, it can be updated from the backend, and it does work with my limited testing. I did have to wait for the site to be a bit out of date and a new module to come out, but it does work. But another great reason, I'm just going on a bit of a tangent here, I guess, but another good thing is this is a great way of actually searching for modules. Because yeah, if we type in quiz, I actually did discover this gamification, and I want to play around with it, but I'm not going to play around with it tonight. That's for another video. All right. So what we're going to do is I've already downloaded it. So let me just move a few things around here. So I've already downloaded the module just so I don't want things to break. And we're going to go to extend and search for quiz. You want to install the quiz core module. And then you have your different quiz questions. There are a few here, but the two I just want to focus on for now, and we'll take a look at the other ones, is just quiz multi choose, and then we have true and false. So let's go ahead. You will see that there are a lot of dependencies with quiz. So it does download paragraphs, rules, views bulk operation, field group. Yeah, there are a decent amount of modules. So that's what I mentioned. If you're going to use this, you really want to use the quiz module extensively because it does install a lot of modules. But then 9 times out of 10, you might have these modules already installed. Who knows? Who knows? So to get started, you will see this quiz button right here. Just click on, well, what you want to do is come at the top here and click on quiz. And then you can see all your configuration. So on down structure, you have on the right-hand side, you have quiz types. You can create different quizzes because they are fieldable entities. Then you have your question types. Then in great Drupal fashion, there's a bundle for everything. You have your results types, you have your answer types, you have your feedback types. And let me guess, if I click on it, oh no, it's not fieldable. Okay, but you can create your different types. Okay, fair enough. I'll give it that. But I just love it that you can see this was just built by a Drupal minded person, because straight away the first question you ask is, well, can I create my own field types or my own question types? Well, yes, you can. And then you have your results here. There's nothing in there. You have the scores. Again, there were no attempts. And you have your questions, which you can then reuse. So let's start things off by creating an actual quiz. So let's go to quiz and click on add quiz. And let's call this one, do you know? So do you know, what do you think I'm going to say? Drupal, of course, I'm going to say Drupal. So let's chuck in a description. We'll chuck this one in. Well, let's clean up that. All right, it's nice. Then you have a few options down here. Taking options. So here you can control how people can take the quiz. Can they go backwards? Can they repeat? Are they allowed? Are they allowed to resume? Are they allowed to skip? Allowed to jump? And so on and so forth. You can kind of figure out what's available, but there will be a bit of trial and error when you set this up for the first time. So just be aware of that. Then you have randomization, where you can randomize things. You have availability options, pass or fail, where you can set a required grade. Then you have your question feedback and your quiz feedback. Let's just hit save for now. And what we're going to do is put in our first question. So from this dropdown, let's create a new question. So let's add in a multiple one of these questions. And let's just chuck this one in. Now, one thing to be aware of, the title is not the question. This is the thing that kind of caught me off. I just didn't think. I would put the title in, add in all the options and the choices, and then the question won't appear. Because what you need to do is chuck in the question here. It does say question in this text area, so just be aware of that. And let's put in our first option. So our question is, which module should you use to display a list of articles? Well, we're going to chuck in, say, views, and let's make that one correct. And we'll give it a score of 1. And where's the next one? Add multiple, add another choice. Let's chuck in commas. And this one, oh no, not there. What I'm talking about, multiple choice. And then let's chuck in commas. And the other one is going to be rules. And finally, let's throw in React. So views is the correct answer, and it's got a score of 1. And let's hit save. Let's add in another, and this is going to be a true or false. This one is Drupal written in PHP? The correct answer is true. Let's put that in. The other one is, if you can guess it, another multiple choice. And let me chuck that in there. What command line tool is commonly used to manage Drupal dependencies? What do we have? npm? Is that the answer? Who knows? Composer? Maybe. Wait, no, again, I did it wrong. Composer. And this one's the correct answer. And let's give it a choice of 1. I was going to chuck in Drush Make. Now I'm showing my age. If you know what Drush Make is, that was before before Drupal moved over to Composer. And finally, let's throw in Yarn. And click on Save. And finally, our final choice will be another multiple choice. In Drupal, what is Twig? So we have, is it a database query builder? Is it the caching system? Let's put that in. Is it the template engine? Or is it a security module? Now, it's up to you to choose. It can be any of these. And let's go back up here, templating engine, and let's give it a value of 1. All right. And chances are I will get a comment saying, saying, oh, I don't like Twig. Twig shouldn't be used. This is just a bit of a rant, but every single time I post any short form video about Twig, there's always 1 or 2 comments saying how Twig is the worst thing ever. It's not the future. Drupal shouldn't have chosen it. I don't know why people are very passionate about not liking Twig. I don't mind it. It does get in the way sometimes, but it was better when we could just write PHP. But I understand from a security standpoint why you want to use it, but I wouldn't hate it that much. Anyway, it's always fun to have a chat with them. All right, so now we've added in our questions. Let's put in let's make one more change before we test things out and give it a go. What I want to test out is, let's go down to pass and fail options, and we'll give it a pass grade of 75. And if it is greater than 75, you can put in a message saying, congratulations, you won. I don't know, something. You can do something like that. So let's go ahead and put that in. All right. So we've done all of that. Now what we can do is go ahead, let me close that, and take the test. So if we go ahead here, well, let's start right at the beginning. If you have the correct permissions, then you will see this slash quiz, well, slash quiz, slash, and then the ID. Then here you get a bit of information about the quiz. How many questions, attempts, if it's available, passing grade, if backwards navigation is allowed. I'm sure this is all fieldable and changeable, and you can probably change the template for this. So we can go ahead and just start the quiz. And if we select our first answer, so which module is used, that's views. Then we get a true and false. Is it written in PHP? Yes, it is. And you can see here, we can go back or we can skip. What command line tool is commonly used? Composer. And finally, at the end, we can finish it. We can skip and finish, and we can finish. And then we've got templating engine. What is it? Templating? No, let's actually select the wrong one. Database query builder and click on finish. All right. So here on this complete page, you get admin because that's the login, quiz results, and then we pretty much get an empty page. Let's fix that up now, okay? Let's fix up this final page because as somebody who's doing a bit of after hours training and trying to learn a language and doing quizzes and things like that, it's always good to know how far you got. Did I pass? Didn't I pass? So you can see that, yeah, this page just gives you anxiety. It's like, did I pass? I don't know, you know. So let's take a look at it right now. One thing to be aware of is that if we go and edit a quiz and there are results, so people have filled out the quiz, there's certain things you can't change. So you can see straight away here, we get this message saying this quiz has attempts. You can edit these changes, but it will change the results because it probably aggregates the scoring and things like that. What you can't do, and I know what you can't change. So if we go into questions, if we come along in here and edit a question, right down at the bottom, I hope you can see that in the stream. Yeah, you can. We can't save it because it has been, we can't make changes to it because there are actual results against it. So whenever you want to make changes, you either have to create a new revision or in this case, you want to just delete it. Or sorry, no, delete the results. Let me mention that again. Delete the results or create a new revision. Now, when it comes to testing things out, you want to try and get your quizzes fleshed out pretty early on because as you'll see, every time you make a change, it's best to probably just delete the results and start again. Of course, once you have results, then you don't want to do that, but just be aware of that. So you can see here, you have a message down the bottom that there are answers and that you either delete it or create a new revision. So let's go ahead and delete the results. The other thing to be aware of is if somebody just comes here to this first page, okay, there is essentially already an attempt. So just be aware of that, okay? Just be aware of that. If somebody attempts the quiz, then there is an attempt and you won't be able to make changes. So that's why you really want to think about when you're creating your quiz, flesh it out beforehand or just test it out on a dev site and make changes to it, understanding you are going to delete everything. All right. So let me just go ahead and quickly fill this out again, just so I've got a bit of data. Yes, yes, yes. Do that one. What is it? NPM and tweak is a security module. Yeah, why not? All right, cool. So we've done all that. Now, if we go into, I believe we go in here, edit, and then feedback. If you want to display things on the end screen, you want to control it from here. So what I recommend you do is switch on score and click on save. Oh, you can't actually change it. That's interesting. So now we know we have to delete it. But he says you can edit it. Oh, that's interesting. All right, fine. We'll go ahead. Let's go ahead and delete the results. All right, let's go ahead, delete the results. Come along in here. And if you click on score, you want to also select question and choices, because score just gives you a score without the question, and it's hard to see, well, what did that actually answer? Then you also want to select correct answer. And let's click on save. And let's go back in, because I just want to make sure we save that. Then what you can do is add in quiz result feedback. And this is pretty cool. So what you can do is you can put in and say anything from 50 to 100%. It's like, great job. And you can adjust and put in multiple feedback as well. You can put in different ranges. So let's just close that one off. So if it's between 50 and 100%, you can put in this message called great job. And then you want to make sure you switch on quiz feedback. If you add in this quiz feedback right here, you need to check this. As you can see, this module is powerful, okay? This module is powerful, but there's a lot of things to be aware of. The other thing to be aware of is that with this question feedback, we have after the quiz. So this will be displayed. Everything in here will be displayed after the quiz. You can, however, display information after the question as well. So you can do that. So let's just click on save. All right, done that. Now, if we go to take test, let's go and take it. Do that one. Composer. And what is it? Notification system. And now we get the score, which is great. We get the question and also the score for individual questions and the correct answer. And then right down at the bottom, we get, great job. Which we chucked in. So this is great for the user just to see it. They feel good. They're like, yep, I've done my best. And they can move on with their life. You want to know the answer straight away when it comes to these type of quizzes. Now, the other thing to be aware of is that the feedback, so the configuration that we just did, is also powering the results. So if you have admin access, you can come along in here in results and then click on score. And all of this is actually controlled by the feedback as well that we configured. So if you want to control what's shown here, you need to control it from the feedback section. And then if you come along in here and click on view, you can then see the view results as well. So there's a lot of configuration when it comes to this quiz module. Very powerful. But yeah, there's a lot of configuration when it comes to it. Okay, so let's go back to quiz. And from this main dashboard, we can see, again, all the quizzes. You can see them right here. We can see the results. And also we can see all of the, oh no, these are attempts waiting scoring. There you go. There are no attempts. And then we can see all of the attempts. And then you can come along in here and see the questions. Now, a question can be reused on other quizzes. So if we were to go ahead and create another quiz, another Drupal quiz, and throw that in. And then up the top here on the top right, we can select quizzes from our quiz questions, from our bank. And let's select, I don't know, 2 of them and click on add. And let's go back, refresh. And now these have been added in. If we edit these quizzes, these questions, They cannot be changed because there are answers attached to them. Just be aware of that. That's another thing to be aware of if you are going to share them. That as soon as you reuse them, if there's answers attached to them, then you can't edit them. But you can go ahead and delete it, and it will remove it, but it won't actually delete the quiz. Sorry, okay, he won't actually delete the question or the answers because there are answers assigned to it. So let me just double check that. So let's go ahead. What command line tool? If I come along in here, remove. Now let me have a look at that. Now that's interesting. Oh, actually. So if you remove it from here, all right, let's actually test that out. That is a good thing because I thought, oh, there we go. Got something going up here. All right, let's give that a go. All right, questions. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this is a good thing. Okay. This is something that I learned just now. If you come along in here and delete it, so delete the button. So click on the delete button. It will delete the actual question. Okay. So this can't be undone. Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. If you want to remove it, then you need to click on remove from the side here. Okay. So let's go ahead here and go to results. Let's have a look at this. Oh no, that gets an error. Oof, that is something to be aware of. That is something to be aware of. So it will delete it. Anyway, that's good to know. That is good to know. So if we go along in here and just do all that stuff, and if I come along in here, let's go back here. So quizzes, another quiz. Go edit this and then go to question and then remove this one. And then come back to here. And then it's still there. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So just be aware of that. If you come along in here, edit, and click on delete, it's going to delete it, but then you can remove it from a quiz. Even I learned something today. There you go. There you go. Now, before we finish things up with quiz, let's install a few of the other modules and take a look at them. So if we search for quiz, and let's do short answer, matching question, and long answer. You do have this Ajax quiz, but it's not really recommended at this point because as it says, the module doesn't really gracefully degrade, so it's not, so they don't recommend using it. Let's go ahead and click on install. And once this installs, we can go to quiz. And let's go here. Let's go to our other one, just so we can see a few of the extra questions. So we have our long answer. You can chuck in a long answer if you want. You have matching question. You can put in kind of a matching questions right here. Then you have, of course, multiple choice. Then you have the short answer. And then, of course, you have true and false. So that's pretty much it for the quiz module. As I mentioned, when you are setting it up, you want to flesh out all your questions beforehand, but that's with any form, really. You don't want to start just going in there and creating questions because things will change. You want to start off in a spreadsheet or something, come up with your answers and deal with that and just work on it before you jump in and do it in here. So if you are looking for a full-on quiz solution that requires a lot of modules, then take a look at quiz. If you already have Webform installed, then take a look at Webform Quiz Elements. And this is the module we're going to take a look at right now. So let me just clean this up, clean up these tabs, and let's go to extend. and search for Webform. And let's search for Webform, Webform UI, and where is it? Where is it? It's quiz here somewhere. I saw it. I saw it. I see you. There we go. Webform Quiz Elements. And let's go ahead and install that one. One thing I should mention is that if you do go to Browse Modules, you can't actually find Webform, the module from here for some reason. I don't know why. I was trying to debug it today, but if you search for it here, you cannot find it. But you can just download it using Composer. It is compatible with Drupal CMS, which is Drupal 11, and Drupal core, the latest Drupal core. So you can just download it using Composer and it works perfectly fine. But for some reason, I can't find it. You can't see it from here. Even if you show, select show, or maybe it's not part of our, no, ecosystem module. No, ecosystem web form integrations and user engagements. Why is that? Nah, see, you just can't. Like, I don't know why it's newest. You would think if you search for quiz, it will come up. Everything else comes up. No, I don't know. Yeah. So if you are planning to install it using the project browser, yeah, just be aware of that. You won't be able to find it. Once we have everything installed, go to Web Forms, and here, this is the Web Form UI. Let's create our own quiz, and we'll call this one Drupal Quiz, and click on Save. And then up the top here, we can create our elements. Now, if this is the first time you are seeing Web Form in action, I do have a video on the WebWash YouTube channel on using Web Form. The backend looks a little different because we're not using Gin in that version of Drupal. We're using a different backend, but the layout's the same. It just looks a little different. So if you want to learn more about Web Form, then I highly recommend that you just have a look at that video, because Web Form is the de facto form builder for Drupal, so you can use it to create any types of form, any type of form. So click on Add Element, and what you want to do is search for quiz, and you get 3 elements. So the most important is this radios, which is a quiz element. This is the actual question. Then you have the result, so you can display the result of it, and then you have the actual quiz title, the quiz total score. So what we're going to do is let's put in an element, so one of these elements, and this one's going to be called, again, we'll just call this one, which module should use to display a list. And then we can come along in here and define our options, which will be views, commas, did I spell that right? Yes, I did. Rules, and finally, React. Now, the way you define what is correct and also the message that is displayed, if it's correct or not, is through this YAML options, okay? So what we need to do now is add in this YAML configuration, and this value needs to match what's in here. Now, understand that with the option, this is the actual option value. This is the most important thing. And on the right-hand side, you have the actual option text. So you could leave this as views and then call this one views such and such or whatever. But the value will always be views, but we'll keep it consistent. So what we need to do is come along in here and change this to views and then put in this is correct. So is correct true? And we'll just put that like that. The next one will be false. So we'll call this one incorrect. And what's this one? Commas. And then we can go ahead and just flesh out the rest of them. And that's going to be it. So what is it? Rules and React. Okay. We can go down and click on save. So that is our first option right there. Well, first question. Let's add in a true or false. Click on add element, and I'll call this one radio. No. I'll select the radio quiz element. That's important. And this one is, we'll use is Drupal written in PHP? Why not? Select that one. And that needs to be a true or false. So what we need to do, and the best way of doing that, is by putting in a value of true and a value of false. However, you will get errors in the current version of the module because for some reason, these values do return an error because it probably thinks you are passing a true or a false. So I would recommend that you do not use these as values. You can actually use anything as a value. So you can put in an underscore in front or something. You can do something like this. Because if we go down here and click on save, oh, we're going to get that. So let's put that in first, and I'll show you what happens. So that is going to be, what is it? True. No. False. This will be false. Call this one correct. And I'll call this other one. What did I do? And let me do that again. I hit something on the keyboard. There we go. Let's do that again. Radio. Add the elements in. And what is that? Is this written in Drupal? Yes, it is. All right. Call this one true. False. And no, can't paste it. All right, that's fine. Let me just copy this across. Call this one true. And the next one can be, I'll just copy this one across as well. All right. And this one's false. Again, the values match. So even though, this is just true or false, it is still a radio button, so the values need to match. All right. So if we come down and click on save, you will get this, okay? Nothing's really happening. Now, my experience with Webform is that I look in the console because we're getting errors, okay? We are getting errors. Now, the reason why we're getting errors is because we are naming the values true or false. So I haven't really spent time to debug it, and it's something that I could do. But essentially, you don't want to use the value actually true and false. What you want to do is just put something in front of it. So anything else other than that. So let's just put in PHP. And what we can do is just remove it from the label. So it just displays as true or false. But then we'll just do the same thing there. And do that. And if we save it, it's going to save. And we can click on Save Elements. All right, done that. And done that. Now, if we go to View, we can see our options right here. So we can submit it, or we can go back and make them required. So let's go to our results. Let's delete the results so we don't have any issues with that. Yep, delete the results. Let's go back to build. Let's make them required. And let's now display the results on a separate page. So you go through and then the results are displayed on a separate page. Now, the best way of doing that, of course, this being web form, is you can easily just add in a page and separate things out and then use those results elements. So let's create our first page and call this one questions. And the second page will be called answers. No, did I spell that right? I'm a terrible speller. And got that. All right, done that. Let's pop that to the side. Hit save. Then we have our elements. And let's search for quiz. And we need to create a result for every single question. So what we can do, let's go ahead and let's select on the right hand side. So this can be, we'll just call this one results. So which module, then we select it from here. And you can select if the results will be displayed on view on the actual submission or in the actual form. Well, let's do it on both and click on save. And let's pop that one in. So it appears under it. And the next one will be add element. And this one will be results. No, where's it? Results. There we go. And again, results is Drupal ... And let's just add that in and click on save. And let's pop that in there. Hit save elements. And finally, search for quiz. What we can do is put in the total and a passing score of, I don't know, let's put in 25% or something. No, 50%, why not? Good job. And then we can put in just failed. And that can be displayed on both as well. And we'll pop that up the top. And let's scroll down, click on save elements. And now if we take it, come along in here, we can select it, true or false, go back there. And now we get actual message here telling us the results. So you can see that, yep, we failed. It says incorrect, false. Go back, say true. Come along in here, and this is good job, we passed. Of course, it needs a little bit of styling because everything's just a single color, but we have selected the right answers. And then we can go ahead and click on submit. Then if we go here and view the results, let's go back in here and view the results, you can see the actual answers right here. Right down here. And it is styled a little bit better here because I think it's using the status. What is it using? Let me increase that. Message, status message. There you go. Yeah, it's using the standard status message. But you can go ahead and change it whichever way you want, really. Change it whichever way you want. So that is how you use Webform Quiz Elements. There is a bit of site building involved, but it's just standard web form building. So if you have experience using web form, then it's actually pretty simple to get set up. And so this is where it really comes down to how much effort and how much maintenance do you want to put into these quizzes. If you want a pretty powerful, beefy quiz machine on your website, then take a look at the quiz module. That's probably the best module for you because you can control a lot of things and it gives you a lot of flexibility, but it needs to be maintained. Now with Webform Quiz Elements, if you are already using Webform and you don't want to install the quiz module, but you just want to add a little bit of quiz functionality, then take a look at this. And also, if you don't have requirements for different question types, then perhaps Webform Quiz is a good solution. Of course, if you need to have like long or matching question types, then you may want to use the quiz module. It's up to you. It just really depends. So that is it. So that is the difference between using quiz and Webform Elements. Any questions before we finish up? Well, let me just wrap things up here. So got another one in the can. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you want to learn more about Drupal, head over to webwash.net, where we cover Drupal and also other CMSs. And I'm still in the process, and I've mentioned this a few times, I'm still in the process of getting all these videos up, nicely edited, ad-free in a WebWash Premium section. Now, these videos will still be free on YouTube. You will be able to watch them on YouTube, but I am kind of pretty excited about launching that very, very soon. And just the other thing I do want to mention that if there's anyone out there that needs Drupal support, I can offer that. So I do have I do know a bit about Drupal. So if you do need help with Drupal and you like my style of giving presentations and you've watched my videos and you're like, hey, I need help with that, just go to webwash.net. I do have a consulting page, which you can fill out and we can start the conversation, or just use the contact form on webwash.net, or find me on LinkedIn. Just, yeah, you'll be able to find me because I do have some capacity to take on extra clients. So if you are looking for Drupal help, you know where to find me. I'll always be talking about Drupal. Anyway, that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. All right, that was fun. Yeah, thank you. Okay, the question. All right, cool questions. Yeah, Drupal commerce. Yeah, people are asking for that. E-commerce and Drupal, e-commerce and Drupal, e-commerce and Drupal. Oof, that's going to be yeah, I am in the process of kind of fleshing that out. And what I mean by that is I need to think of these, videos in more detail because commerce is pretty big. Because everyone's definition of commerce and Drupal is very different. So maybe if I do one about, Drupal commerce integrating with Stripe, then it has to be, the site will have to be online as well. Yeah, need to figure that out. So maybe do two where there's selling a physical product and probably a digital product. Or maybe I'll start off with like a simple setup where you use Drupal, CMS, and sell a digital product or access to a product. Anyway, that's a good thing to know. No, it's good to know that people, really want the commerce stuff. I really do really need to think about that stuff. I do have a list of live streams, but yeah, thank you for that. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. It was fun. It was fun, fun, fun. Okay. Let's just Drupal commerce. See, you could kind of say it's kind of funny. Like whenever people come to me and say, "Oh, would you recommend Drupal as an e-commerce platform?" I'll tend to say no. I don't know. Like for me, it's just because there's so much involved with commerce. Especially if you're just going to build some type of standard e-commerce website. There are other platforms out there that have better integration. For me, it comes down to the integration. And that's the huge part about commerce in general. You need to be able to integrate with your payment solution or with your bank or with your shipping. And depending which country you're in, it may or may not be widely used. Of course, if you're in the United States, you have a lot of options. But when I was building a long time ago, when I was building out um, what is it, e-commerce integration in Australia, it was hard to find good integration with Australia Post. I don't know what it is like now, but that was pretty tricky, and just like shipping and things like that. So that's kind of the hard part. The e-commerce part is simple. Adding it to carts, basic stuff. Okay. Do you remember? All right. Another question. Do you recommend watching a full series of web form, or is there a special introductory video? There are web forms. Let me have a quick look. There is introductory videos on in the actual web form. So if you go to web forms, I think help. Yeah, you do have introductions right here. These videos. So I do recommend that you probably start off watching these videos. It is using probably a different backend theme because this is probably from Drupal. Yeah, this is from Drupal 8 days, but the concept's the same. If you don't want to sit there and watch a hour and a half long video, or like watch the live stream that I did where I waffle on about web form, then yeah, these are recommended. So you can come along in here. So all you need to do is just install it, go to web forms, and then click on help, and you will see all of these options right here. And I do think some of my videos are actually here, I think. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, there are one. Yeah, these are old school from Drupal 8 days. And that's when I had hair. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, these ones, I wouldn't say they're out of date because the UI hasn't really changed in web form, other than the backend theme just looks different and very dated because it's using the old 7 theme. Old school 7, and here are a few of my other ones as well. Uh, so yeah, check out these videos. But with web forming, it really comes down to just using it, getting in there and just using it. Because yeah, it is pretty full on. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. It was fun, and catch you all next week. Cool. Take care.